What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the BroTech Gaming Podcast. This is the Last of Us episode review edition. I'm Sean, here with my homie Carlos. We're going to be talking about episode number 6, which is titled Kin. Episode number 6. So, Carlos, thoughts? Give me all your thoughts about episode number 6. Let's get into it.
I thought episode 6 was really good, even though I kind of feel like it was a bit of a filler. Like it wasn't like a 90 or 100% filler, but maybe like 80% because there was setup for what's coming next. Um, if you did see the trailer for the next episode, they're doing the flashback with Ellie and I can't remember her name.
Yeah, they're doing it was Riley. It's basically Left Behind. So if you play the Left Behind DLC, then you definitely have an expectation for what they're going to get into in the next episode. I kind of feel the same as you. I kind of anticipated it was going to be sort of like a filler episode, just because I kind of knew where the story was going to go. Like I knew that we were going to have those interconnections with Tommy and the settlement and stuff like that. So I kind of share your same thoughts and opinions in that matter.
Yeah, but overall, it was a really good episode. I like the reunion back with Tommy. Then you find out he's married and expecting to be a dad. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't see when Ellie went and heard the conversation between Tommy and Joel. I know
that
she
was
got
kind of
up.
unclear. Yeah, because it showed her like walking through the town. Basically like when everybody was watching that movie. Um, so I guess we can assume that she might have overheard like Tommy and Joel talking amongst themselves in that little boot barn,
Yeah,
boot
boot
repair
barn.
shop.
Yeah.
Um, do you want to take us through kind of like a summary of the episode, or you just want to like talk about different things that happened in
Um,
the episode?
yeah, we can do a little summary. So it starts off with Henry and Sam in the last episode. Kind of gives you like a very small flashback of what happened last
Yeah,
week.
we didn't need that. Totally
Yeah,
set, like freaking emotions again. So I'm like,
yeah.
why are they doing this to us? So
Yeah, so I think they put that in there just to kind of remind you that Joel isn't really good with taking care of people.
yeah, yeah, that's
But
a good
yeah,
point.
so they threw that in there real quick, and then they do a what is it, a flash forward? Not really a flash forward, but they time jump 3 months into the future, and it's snowing now, and they end up in this little house, and I guess the homeowner, the guy, comes back with little rabbits and stuff, and the wife's motions over that there's people there. So
Mhm.
then so basically he tells him to take his Joel tells him to take the gun out, and then Ellie comes down, and then they all kind of talk, and it was kind of funny, like that couple, like they're kind of funny because Joel asked for the like where they're at on the map, and he's all like, they better be the same place that your wife said. And then he
Yeah,
asked the wife, like, did you tell him the truth? And she's like, yeah. He's like, are you telling me the truth? She's like, yeah. But she's like, whatever about it.
yeah, that was a fun part. Like it brought a little bit of comic relief to the episode that we hadn't really seen in a while. So I thought the dialogue was really good. I thought the character building was really good.
Yeah, it was good. I like that part. Then they leave. They head off to the, was it called the River of Death or something like that?
Yeah, basically it was an assumption that you don't go past the river because you know, people end up dead, and there's infected there that end up getting tossed. So there's basically this uh like this mystery or dread about what happens if you go across the river. So I was kind of under the assumption that that was going to be something different than what it turned out to be. Like I thought maybe we were going to get some like raiders or cannibals or something like that. So that's not quite what happened, but
Yeah,
um, getting a lot more dialogue and a lot more scenes with Joel and Ellie on their way, which I actually liked. Like on their way there, they set up like camp at some point, and like Ellie's basically like like she's on watch basically because Joel fell asleep, but he was supposed to be on watch. So that was kind of like a cool little scene that they added for the two of them before it moved forward.
Yeah, I kind of missed that part because my dog was she jumps on the ottoman and I can't see anything because she's so big.
You have to rewatch it then.
Yeah, just that part. But yeah,
Yeah.
so they do wake up. They head over, like following the map to where Tommy's at.
Hmm.
They do get surrounded by a group of people. You don't know who they are. Um, and then you have the Michonne lookalike lady. She's like, wait, what's your name? And he's like Joel. And then she
Hmm.
has like that realization of who he is. So
Yeah.
they all haul ass back to the camp, and then he reunites with Tommy,
Hmm.
and yeah. So I think Joel and Tommy went to the bar because they went to go talk, and then Ellie went to the wife's house to go like
Yeah.
take a shower and freshen up and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and she ends up cutting her hair for her. So while Joel and Tommy are talking, Joel basically tells Tommy like she's infected, but she's immune to it. And I honestly thought that like Tommy was gonna run out and like Joel was gonna have to go and like tackle him or something.
Well, you kind of felt that like as soon as Tommy heard that she was infected, like you could see that sense of fear in his eyes, like is she gonna turn? Is she gonna eat my wife?
Yeah,
Like are we totally screwed? Like our safe little town in the middle of nowhere. So I could kind of understand that anytime anybody hears about somebody being infected. So
yeah, definitely. So after that, what happens after that? Is that when they do the movies and then that's when Ellie
yeah,
finds
yeah,
out
they're
about the
it's basically just like Joel and Ellie just sort of like settling into town, finding a little bit of peace. It's like Ellie's getting a haircut and having like a little conversation with Maria in the house, and then like Joel and Tommy basically have their conversation in when he's trying to repair his boots. But like basically the whole town is watching an old movie on the screen, and that was kind of the majority of the episode until they finally trek out to leave, and basically like Joel convinces Tommy that Tommy needs to be the one to take Ellie the rest of the way because Joel doesn't have enough confidence in himself to do it because he feels weak and he feels old. um and then that kind of led up to the scene from the game where like basically like Joel tells Ellie that he's not going with her, that she'd be better off with Tommy. It's the whole you're not my daughter and I'm sure as hell not your dad moment from the game. And then he kind of has a little time to reflect after that, in which he changes his mind in the morning. So instead of Tommy taking her out, it ends up being Joel anyways, and then Tommy stays behind. And then that's when they basically get to the edge of, I guess it's Colorado. I think it's like the University of Colorado that they get to. Um, and they find some monkeys, and they're moving through the busted town where fireflies used to be, and they're not there anymore. And then as they're inside that, I guess it's a hospital. It looked like it was a hospital or a medical center. They hear the raiders approaching, and then that's when they try to escape. Joel gets caught off guard by one raider. He fights him off and breaks his neck, but the raider manages to stab him in the gut with like the busted end of his baseball bat. Um, and then they get away. They're being chased by a few other guys, but they end up getting away. But then, like further down the road on the tracks, Joel succumbs to his wounds and then falls off the horse. And then that's basically when the episode ended.
yeah. I thought the school like medical facility scene was pretty good. I
Mhm.
remember the game like trying to start all the generators and stuff, and then there was like a spot with the spores and a lot of clickers in there too. Like that was a fun part of the game.
Yeah, yeah. I think the episode overall was pretty good in terms of just the character building. Like you got to see a lot more out of Joel and Ellie. You get to see them bond a lot more. They're clearly a lot more comfortable with each other now than they have been in previous episodes. Um, Especially with like Ellie, I don't know if it's just me psychologically or maybe it's because of what happened to Sam at the end of the last episode, but she already feels a lot more mature to me. Like her portrayal of Ellie, I think, is much more spot on now than it has been in previous episodes. Like she feels a lot more mature, a lot sharper, a lot wittier now compared to how she was in previous episodes. So I don't know, maybe that's just me, but that's kind of the feeling I got from her in this recent episode.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she is gonna have to grow up really fast, especially they only give us 9 episodes, so she has to have a lot of character development in this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. And they spend a lot of time with her and Joel kind of like establishing a stronger bond between the three of them. And I don't know why I thought that the scene where the dog is sniffing him out, like I really felt like something was gonna happen to Ellie and like Joel was gonna have to do something. So I feel like that scene was a little like extra, like we didn't get that in the game. But I still felt like something bad was gonna happen for some reason.
Yeah, I wonder if they just do that like just for show, like if they do that just to see if they'll run away, or if they
Mm,
actually stay and let the dog sniff them, they know that they're not bit or whatever. Because
yeah.
I don't think the dog can smell like the cordyceps inside of a person.
Well, I think it goes to show that even though Ellie has been bitten and she is immune, I think it shows that her basically antibodies are able to fight off the infection. So even if she's been bit, she can heal herself. So there's no trace of it in her system, which is probably why the dog wasn't able to sniff anything out. I imagine if anything was lingering in her bloodstream, like if it was a recent bite, then the dog would probably sniff something out. But I think it just shows that her body's able to fight off the infection pretty effectively if the dog can't sniff it. That's what I got out of it.
Oh, okay. I kind of got the opposite. I just feel like they did it for show.
Yeah.
So there
Well,
was a scene where
deep thinker, Carlos.
there
Think
was a
deep.
scene where Joel was talking to Tommy and talking about the bite, and he said
Yeah.
that like that nobody can find out what it looks like underneath her skin. Like, does he think that she's just like full of like cordyceps like underneath?
Oh,
I,
I don't know.
I was kind of confused by that.
I think I was just taking that as is like just in general if anybody sees like the scarring that grows under her skin because you can see that there was an infection there that began and healed, but it's kind of left a mark on her. So I mean maybe it
Mm,
just literally means like under the skin, like if they see the infection because it healed, like her infection's healed, but you can see like what's grown underneath because she has that permanent scar.
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Maybe nobody would really know how to take that if they seen it.
Yeah, for sure. So
Um, yeah.
so we already know that next episode is going to be a flashback.
Uh-huh.
I feel like next episode is what, 7, and then we have 8. So I
Hmm.
think 8 we should have that first scene of that rabbit in the snow. That'd be really cool if we get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I thought for some reason they were gonna flip it on us because when it's like when Joel leaves the cabin at the beginning of the episode when they are talking like to the two old folk that are there, he kind of goes into that weird sort of heart attack mode. Like, and then she had stolen two rabbits from them when they left, so she already has like two rabbits. And I'm thinking like symbolism, like did they kind of like flip something on us? Like, is he gonna get sick and like pass out? She already has the rabbits. I thought that would be like a weird way of twisting things around, which they didn't do. But yeah, like episode 8 is definitely going to be one of like the more climactic episodes we've had so far. Which I don't mind the flashback. I don't mind the Left Behind flashback because it's going to show a little bit more seriousness. I think we're going to see some infected and some clickers in there, which is kind of cool. So I'm kind of excited for that to see more infected. Um, I was kind of hoping there'd be more. As always, I want more infected in the show, and I just feel like it's kind of a bummer for me. Like I want to see more of the infected and more of them like fighting that stuff off. But I just don't think we're gonna get it anymore for the rest of the season. So
Yeah, I was just about to mention that there was no infected over by the dam. They didn't even go in the dam. They just kind of looked at it and passed by it. There was no infected at the university.
yeah,
So yeah, so kind of like missed opportunities, but I mean, they can't always just throw one in there just, to
yeah.
satisfy the fans.
And I get they need to pace the show, and it's not just about that. It's about the storytelling too. I just feel like they kind of teased it like multiple times now. Like in the last episode with Sam and Henry, they teased they should have cleared out some infected down there underneath, and like they didn't run into anybody. And you have the old folks saying that yeah, don't go west of the river because you'll find dead people and infected. They're inside the university, and in the game, you're definitely fighting off runners and infected in the game too. Which to throw like a couple of those in is fine. I don't think it would have ruined the pacing of the show, but give us a little bit more fear or conflict that's happening in between those long spans of them traveling. I think would have been a little nice.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they're kind of losing the well, they planted that seed about the what do you call it? How it runs through the city and it's like interconnected and everything like that. They showed that in one episode and they haven't
Mhm.
talked about it or gotten back to or showed it again.
Yeah.
So if they do go back to that, I feel like a lot of people are going to forget that that was even a thing because they haven't kept us updated with it.
Yeah, I mean, even with the last episode, I loved episode, uh, geez, was it episode 5 now? I loved episode 5 with Sam and Henry, and I loved having the infected bolt out of the ground. But, that was very, very far away from when we first got introduced to the threat in episode 4 when it was, like, in that basement and you see, like, the ground, like, rumbling. Like, they gave us a tease with that, but they shipped it all the way over to the outskirts of town when we had that big outbreak and gunfight happen. So that felt very interconnected or that did not feel very interconnected to me. How they went from like, okay, well, we're showing you a threat here, but nothing's going to happen with that because we're going to wait until like the truck gets dropped into a hole, and that's when they're going to pop out. So like obviously there's like a network of stuff that happened underground, but we're just not seeing any of it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, not much else to talk about it. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to the episode.
No, I think the episode was honestly full of like kind of ups and downs for me. This might be the first time that I felt like the parts in the game that were adapted into the show, I felt like the game just did so much better. Um, I feel like the conversation that Joel and Ellie had about him leaving her behind and Tommy taking her, I felt like that was done a lot more. I feel like it was done better in the game than it was in the show. There's a lot of things that happened in the game that led up to that point. Whereas we were just in this big safety net of being in the town. I felt like being in the town for me personally was kind of a distraction from the overarching story. Um, I think we might have got a little teaser of Dina in the episode though, because I don't know if you remember, but when Joel and Ellie are eating and having a conversation with Maria and Tommy, like, at the table. Ellie looks over and, like, there's this curious girl with a braided ponytail just kinda, like, looking at her and then, like, hiding, and then Ellie's like, "Well, that was fucking rude." Like, I think that
Yeah,
was Dina. I think we were meant to see, Dina as, like, a little teaser for the upcoming season, so, sorry spoilers for people, but that's kinda what I got out of it.
that's cool.
How did you feel overall about the episode?
I liked it. Nothing bad about it. I just felt like there was a part, probably like in the middle of the episode, I felt like I was kind of like dozing off because nothing was happening.
It did feel like kind of a filler. Yeah, it did have a. I thought it was gonna be more of a filler episode.
Yeah, and no infected in this whole episode, so
Yeah.
there's that. But yeah, nothing too much to talk about. I liked it. I liked every episode, so
Mhm.
um but yeah, I don't
What
think I
what do
would
you?
change anything. Maybe just more infected. That's the only thing I can
I think
ask
more
for.
infected. Yeah. What would you give this on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'll still give it an 8. I thought it was really good. I mean, we're getting the Joel and Ellie back and forth, and that's what we've been wanting since like the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we got more of that. We got to see the closure with Tommy and Joel, so he knows that he's fine, and now they get to go on and continue their adventure.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'm actually gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna rank it at a 7, which is still good. It's just because for me there were a lot of highs and lows in the season or in the episode. Sorry, like the highs were definitely the bonding between Ellie and Joel. I love what's happening with Ellie and Joel. I love Joel meeting up with Tommy. Like I felt the emotion there between them. I think what I don't like is I don't like how they're portraying Joel as such a weak individual in this episode. Um, he's a lot tougher and a lot more capable in the game up to this point. And maybe they're trying to do that on purpose in the show just to add a little bit more drama. Uh, you know, TV shows and storytelling, they love making characters seem vulnerable, which I get. I think they're just trying to make Joel seem a little bit more vulnerable, more desperate, maybe, which you don't have that in the game. I just feel like it was a little maybe off-putting just to see him sort of like cry and tell Tommy that he doesn't think he's capable and he doesn't think he can do it anymore. Um, I think that was conflicting with how cold he was with Ellie in the same episode, telling him you're better off with Tommy. Because I get why they did that in the show, but in the game it just felt a little bit more cold and a little bit more sharper coming from Joel um, in the game, which is why I think I like the game version better for this portion of the story. So yeah, long explanation, but that's kind of why I gave it a 7 instead of anything a little bit higher, which I would have wanted to. More infected probably would have saved it overall.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I want to see more of.
Yeah, but I do like the little confrontation they had at the end of the episode. I think the shining aspect of this episode was definitely Ellie, her character, Bella Ramsey's character. Like I feel like she's come a long way. I see a lot more maturity in her, and I see more of her, um, the more of her acting sort of spectrum. Like I can see that she's capable of displaying a lot more emotion and a lot more sincerity in her character now. So I think Bella Ramsey was really good in this episode.
Okay, nice. So you gave it a 7. I gave it an 8. We are gonna do like a end of the season overall grading for it.
Super recap.
Yeah, and in case you guys are wondering, we actually live like 15 minutes away, so I'm just like really cold and he runs, I guess, like really hot. So yeah, we have a culture shock or like weather shock over here and stuff.
I'm not in Florida.
Yeah, but just in case you guys were wondering.
Yeah, we live in the same basically like in the same state, same county basically. So
yeah. All right, yeah. So
I'll put on a sweater and a hoodie for the next episode if you wear a tank top.
Yeah, we'll do that. Throw them off.
All right.
All right, man. So thank you guys for watching. You guys are tuning into the Bro Tech Gaming Podcast. My name is Carlos. This is the homie Sean, and we will see you guys next week for episode number 7.
Thank you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.